Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. This is Yapami Gaming, and today I got a question for you. You ever feel worthless, specifically at work? Do you feel like the stuff that you do doesn't matter? Do you feel like getting up every morning, making the same old coffee, feeding the cat, catching the commute to the office, or getting up and booting up that machine at home? Does it feel like not worth anything to you? I mean, it feels like that to me. And if you're watching this channel, it probably feels like that to you. I bet it feels like, work and all the skills you've acquired from that are worthless. But like the things have changed, the things that have changed for us in this time or in this timeline are skewed to the point where it makes our work seem like it's worthless, but it's just worth less than it was before. It's not worthless, it's just worth less. And I want to talk about that today with y'all. To yap on me real quick, welcome to Yap on Me Gaming. Today we're going to play Castlevania, Aria of Sorrow, one of my favorite Castlevania games on the Game Boy Advance. It was cool because it lets you trade through powers and stuff, as you'll see me playing here for a couple minutes. And then, I just like the maze-like aesthetics of the Castlevania game. It's so cool. Like, you gotta go through the castle one time and then go to the upside down world if you beat the Grim Reaper and stuff. Like it's so cool. So I hope you guys enjoy playing with me, and I hope you guys want to let me know in the comments what you guys have been playing lately too. I'm excited to hear about it. But other than that, let's get into it. So I opened up pretty strong about how work has become worthless in so many words, right? So I feel like I should elaborate about that a bit here. And what do I mean by that? Like I said, work isn't worthless. The act of working isn't worthless. I think as humans, we kind of need to do something like that to spend our time effectively and make sure things are, like fun for us. When things are fun, you got to have a balance, right? What I mean by that, and like I was speaking to earlier, is that work has become worth less than it was before. Specifically meaning what you get out of what you put into it has become substantially worth less than it used to be, right? The classic saying, juice isn't worth the squeeze. And that's become kind of the theme of life now. It's kind of just become the norm at this point. Ask any working American, specifically anybody Gen X on down to Gen Z in the workforce. And I'm not sure if, take Gen X out of the equation, excuse me. But most of us haven't really seen a substantial gain from work other than paying the bills and maybe a trinket here or there, which is also becoming more and more out of reach for standard American, as 60% of us are paycheck to paycheck, as we know. But specifically, what do I mean about work being worth less? Well, let's talk about how 40 hours a week isn't enough for anybody at this point. As I stated a minute ago, we're working paycheck to paycheck and we're living paycheck to paycheck, majority of us in America right now. And it's because our pay hasn't risen with the cost of inflation and everything. Obviously, as you guys are aware, living in the world right now, you see things are way, way, way more expensive than they used to be. And what the thing is about that is, I bet it's making you, like it makes me feel like our work and our plan that we've sat down and takes and crafted with our elders, with our colleagues, just isn't working. Well, it's not working, but it's not entirely our fault, right? Can you budget more? Always. Can you cut things out? Of course, there's things you can cut out. I know me personally, if I really needed to cut some things out, I could stop buying a couple snacks here and there. I stress eat a lot, stress snack a lot, which isn't hard to do nowadays, I'm sure. But, I could cut that out a little bit. But even when I think about that, I'm only really saving myself about maybe $20 a paycheck. I'm not like eating the whole store out, right? And as far as it goes for today in 2025, that $20 isn't really going to get me far, you know? And it goes down to savings and stuff as well. Of course, I try to save. Of course, I try to put things to the side, but it's getting to the point where the money that I bring in isn't matching the bills that are coming to us, or they're keeping up with the bills that are coming to us. So, with that being the case, and with the bills need to be paid no matter what, the extent of my paycheck, it just goes less further than it should be, than it should at this point. And as a parent, um, because I do have a child, as a parent, it's hard to think about that and think about where this is going. How much work you put in to make sure that your child, your family are safe, but and taken care of, and you have a little fun on the side. But it's hard when you can see that what you're putting in, you're not getting anything out of. So you continue to work to try to get something out of it. But that's the thing, the work that you're doing is, say with me now, worth less than what it should be at this point in time. So we have to kind of internalize that before we can look into what needs to be done or what can be done next as far as it goes for us in our day-to-day goings. Just we have to accept that. We have to accept that right now, at this point in time, the same lemons that we're squeezing is not giving us the same amount of lemon juice to make lemonade. So we're drinking a lot of sour ass sugar water right now, but not really sour because it's not lemon juice. And the last part was pretty heavy, and I do want to continue that point on right here, just so we can get really real with this talk right now. Is that in the West, there's a major productivity gap happening for workers, as it goes to the last time that we had on track minimum wages with productivity in 1979. The productivity of the average worker has grown about 2.7 times as much as the pay since the 1979, right? So let's let that sink in. Since 79, we've been on basically hippie era wages and have to take that with a smile and then go get at least one postgraduate degree to make sure we can even get in the spot. And it's not right, it's not right, especially when careers themselves aren't the same anymore. And that may be a good thing, right? I know it feels shocking to say that the whole thing that we've been sold to, the whole reason we've been told to go to college to get a good career, emphasis on one singular good career, is not a reality anymore for most working Americans. It just won't cut it at this point in time. But there may be a silver lining in that, right? As the new working class work to reinvent what the working class is going to be going forward at this point. With this dissolution of the singular career path, we can try more stuff out. We can wear many hats and stuff like that and see what works for us really long term, short term, mid term, anything like that. We end up having a lot more control over what we do and where our life goes, which is great for the people who can work it, right? It's great for people to have that option. What else can we do as far as it goes for that? We can leave bad jobs for we can leave bad jobs for other opportunities. At this point in time, not being as tied down as you are to a corporation or to one specific career is great for you, because you don't have to take whatever abuse may come your way, or you don't have to take anything really if you are confident in your ability to make money on your own with the internet, for example. You can do classic ways like landscaping and stuff like that if you have the wherewithal to put that together. I know me, for example, doing tech stuff, I would look into computer repair, computer replacement, graphic design, stuff like that. I do logos and things like that. So there would be things to look into on that regard for me. But I would urge you to really take it and assess your skill set and what you can do. I know a couple of people, friends of mine, who do construction, but they're wonderful photographers, or people who do warehouse jobs, but they're videographers and stuff. Any hobby that you have, I hate the hustle culture, grind set, the whole turn your hobbies into a career type of thing. I wouldn't say go that far, because I do want you to still have fun with your hobbies, but see if you can't turn a profit off of it, right? It's all a part of getting you the freedom that you want to live your life the way you want to live it, right? And yeah, it could be more work up front, but it's more work for yourself and not somebody else that is going to benefit from your hard work and you not see anything from it. You know, you can make a job now with all these tools that we have at our disposal, and just not be at the mercy of some other guy who has a vacation home in Mar-a-Lago, some crazy. Um, you're not just worthless because traditional work is worth less. You've been here for a long time, learning and absorbing so much, or so many skills that can be reapplied and retooled. It's about time we took a stock of that and saw what we can inject into some new income, some new viability, some new things entirely. It's really time for us to take the leap of faith and to make sure things that we want to do, we can do on our own at this point in time. And then please understand me when I say to do things on your own. I don't mean that in a way of doing things without community. When I say do things on your own, right, I mean do so to the point where you can bring something to a community to help out. You don't want to rely on the community to do all your work for you, for example, because then it won't be your work, right? And like we're building a community here, you want to be a part of something that can help you push you forward, that mirrors your goals, and make sure that you're being accountable for what you say you're going to do. Like we're building a community here. My accountability is uploading videos so I can make sure that my community here is up to date, has something to look forward to at the end of their day, whether that be watching the gameplay or listening to me talk, or just relaxing, taking a minute to get away from the rush of things. We can't do that without community. I can't do it without community, and that goes for work as well. These things, when it comes to building a community, transfer directly into work and working for yourself, because it comes down to networking, like everything else does. Again, going back to the theme of this video, your work may be worthless, but the work that you've done isn't worth less, and that accounts for you talking to people, the community you're in, the network that you built through work. One of the quickest ways to meet people today, or has been throughout American culture, has been through work. And whether you make friends at work or not, that's definitely up to you, and how comfortable you are with that. But what you should be comfortable with before anything else is networking. You don't have to be everybody's friend, right? You don't have to be everybody's friend at work, but you do have to be your own friend. And the best way to do that is to make sure that you have other people to talk to, other resources to pull from. I really do think that networking at work is probably the secret weapon to getting you a better job more often than not. Let's put it to an example here, right? I know there's a couple jobs that I worked before that wasn't the best job for me or anybody else working there. None of us really liked it. None of us really had anything to do with it but collect our check and go home. But after leaving that job, I kept some community from that job. I kept acquaintances around, and I kept some contacts from that job, just long term, through LinkedIn, through social media, whatever, phone number. Sometimes I even texted them. I ended up getting a better job working with that person or working with those people than I did doing any applications, right? The whole it's not what you know, but who you know thing really does come up a lot when it comes to jobs. So let's not pigeonhole ourselves into working independently and, making our work that we already feel is worth less in the long run, because a single dollar is worth less than $2, right? So you always want to make sure you aiming to get more than just $1 out of your out of what you get out of what you put out there. Excuse me, at least getting $1 out of what you put out there, so that you can actually see some substantial gains with the work that you're doing. Remember, the work right now is worthless, but your work isn't worth less. That's kind of what I want us to focus on here, right? And I want to close out with what this channel is about, as far as I'm concerned right now. This channel is about planning next steps, and as much as it is about chilling, so doing so in a chill way is no doubt the goal, but we also need to be able to see how much more powerful we are than we really realize as individuals who up in a system with this much access to education and tools and tricks and planning, all the stuff that we have access to. We really have to take a stock of what the degree means and, retool it at this point. Yeah, that degree may be worthless at a corporation because they're not valuing that anymore, or at least at this point in time. The work is becoming so much, or so docile and so pick up and go, that most people just end up doing it with a couple on days training or on-site training. And that's not to say every job is like that, but let's be real, majority of the corporate jobs are like that now. We can take that degree that they told us was worthless and make that work for us. Again, we have the knowledge that we worked for through that degree to become invaluable. So it really is about taking our time, getting some rest, and then waking up and feeling out what can be done to, just give us back our freedom, give us back our autonomy at this point from corporations and the old idea of work. the idea of work now is changing. And our parents are not see it. They might not get it, but we can't wait on them to get it. We have to get it before they do because they're not going to be working and stuff. We are. So let's, reassess together. And then I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for yapping with me. This is Yapple Gaming. And let me know in the comments what you guys are playing. I can't wait to hear about it. And let me know how you feel about work. Does your work feel worthless now? Or do you think I'm full of hot air? It's all good. Just let me know. Much love. Talk to you guys in the next video.